If you look around you, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plants, insects, birds, or other animals and plants. There are also several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. If you are increase the area that you make observation in, the range and variety of organisms that you see would obviously increase, like in forest.
So, hello friends, I am Shobhit. You are watching Biological Entertainment.
Each different kind of plants, animals and organisms that you see represents a species. The number of species that you know and describe range in between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to biodiversity or the number and the types of organisms present on Earth. There are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know that plants and animals in our own area by their local names. These local names would vary from place to place, even within a country. Hence, there we need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. In order to facilitate the study, number of scientists have established procedure to assign a scientific name to each known organism. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world. For plants, scientific names are based on agreed principles and criteria, which are provided in International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. Now question arises in your mind, how animals named? So for that, animal taxonomists have evolved International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other known organism. Biologists follow universally accepted principle to provide a scientific name to a known organism. Each name has two components, the generic name and the specific epithet. This system of providing name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. This naming system given by Carlos Linnaeus is being practiced by biologists all over the world. This naming system using a two-word format was found convenient. So let us take the example of mango to understand the way of providing scientific names better. The scientific name of mango is written as Mangifera indica. Let us see how it is binomial name. In this name, Mangifera represents the genus, while indica is a particular species or a specific epithet. Now we know the universal rules of nomenclature. Number 1. Biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. They are Latinized or derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. Number 2. The first word in biological name represents the genus while the second component denotes the specific epithet. Number 3. Both the words in biological name when handwritten are separately underlined or printed in italics indicates their Latin origin. Number 4. The first word denoting the genus starts with capital letter while the specific epithet starts with small letter. It can be illustrated with the example of Mangifera indica. Next, the name of author appears after the specific epithet, that means at the end of biological name, and is written in an abbreviation form. For example, Mangifera indica Linn. It indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make it possible. This process is called classification. So classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plants, animals, or dogs, cats, or insects. So for this classification, we have to make different categories by similarities between different species in a specific category. For example, suppose we are to say mammals. You would of course think of mammals with external ears, body hair. Likewise, in plants, we will try to talk of wheat. The picture in each of our mind will be wheat plant, not rice plant or any other plant. So here, mammals, wheat plants, rice plants, all these are different categories. The scientific term for these different categories is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at different levels. Plants also form a taxa, wheat is also a taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs, all are taxa. But you know that dog is a mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals, dogs represent taxa at different levels. Hence, based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is called taxonomy. External and internal structure, along with the structure of cell, development process and ecological information of organisms are essential and form the basis of modern taxonomic studies. Hence, characterization, identification, classification and nomenclature are the processes that are basic to taxonomy. Human beings have always been interested in knowing more and more about various kinds of organisms. Not only interested in knowing more and more about different kinds of organisms and their diversities, but also the relationships among them. This branch of study was referred to as systematics. The word systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organisms. Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as the title of his publication. The scope of systematics was later enlarged to include identification, nomenclature, and classification. Systematics takes into account evolutionary relationships between organisms. If you like this way of learning biology, then like this video. Share with your friends to learn biology very interestingly. If you want to join with us, then subscribe this channel. For any queries or suggestions, please comment down below.